Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to this Banlist prediction. Today we have a discussion about the current format and we will try to see which cards Konami will address in the upcoming banlist. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, the most likely date for the next list is probably after the Megatin reprints, which come out on August 9th. So probably we will get a new banlist in late August or in September. So with this date in mind, let's jump into the banned section. So for our first ban, we have Kashtira Arise Heart. On the last Forbidden and Limited update in June, Kashtira has been just given a slap on the wrist, with Unicorn semi-limit and Arise Heart to 1. Considering that Kashtira has been consistently dominating and winning most of the national championships, as well as winning the North American WCQ and technically winning the European WCQ, if we look past that misplay in the finals, I think we can agree that it's time for Kashtira Arise Heart, the main reason of the deck's power level, to leave. This card has been oppressing the format and the graveyard ever since its release. It is so integral to the Kashtira strategy that it is actually viable to protect it with main deck Forbidden Lances, because if you manage to keep this guy around on the field for longer than one turn, you will win. If a card has a reason to end up on the chopping block, it is most likely this one. So Arise Heart, it is time to go. Our next card to be banned is Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Now, for the longest time this card hasn't really been a problem, but it has recently been making waves in the meta game and in feature matches, being mainly played in labyrinths and looping 4 to 5 spells out of the opponent's hand, leading to some calls for this card to being hit. It is a high risk, high reward kind of card which gives you hand knowledge on top of having the potential to devastate your opponent's hand and even removing board breakers like Dark Ruler and Lightning Storm before they can hit the board. It needs a bit of setup, but the decks that utilize it usually don't have a problem to make it live, considering Konami really doesn't like hand rip cards, which is evident by them banning a pointer of the Red Lotus recently. This card could be a likely candidate to be eradicated on the next list. So our next and final ban for this prediction will be Dimensional Barrier. Because many decks today are focused on just one summoning mechanic like Kashtira, Branded, Purely, Sword Soul, Manadium, and so on, the Barrier is a very flexible and also a lingering chainable floodgate which can skip the entire turn of many decks. This card can restrict design space in the future, and it is getting more and more accessible with cards like Trap Trick and Triple Tactics Thrust, so it could be problematic in the future. Due to these reasons, they might decide to get this card out of the game. So the limited section. Our first limit is Kashtira Unicorn. On the last banlet, this card went to 2, and now it is going to 1, would make sense. Limiting the best one-card combo enabler for Kashtira would lower its consistency by a decent margin. It is more organic than limiting Fenrir, which could be a bit of an overkill. So for our next limit, we have Sprite Starter. This card went to 2 on the last banlist together with Kashtira Unicorn, and will be most likely to going to 1 on this one. It's the best starter for sprites, no pun intended, and it also has been limited in the OCG for a while now. Summoning from the deck for almost no cost whatsoever and triggering blue, immediately getting you into your engine, is pretty broken. Now, hand in hand with Sprite often goes Runic, and on the last Forbidden and Limited disc, Runic just got a minor consistency hit with like Runic Fountain to 2, which is arguably not even a hit at all, because often people just play 2 Fountain anyway. And that's why we will limit Runic Fountain on the next Forbidden and Limited list, because it's one of the most efficient hits you can hit the deck with. What makes Runic so powerful is drawing 3 cards every single turn, and it also means with only 1 Fountain, it will be less likely you hard draw the card in your opening hand and start to drawing cards on the first turn. If you lose the Fountain also, it means you cannot resort to a second one just continue your grind game. So it makes the Runic deck a bit more vulnerable and fair overall, giving the opponent a higher chance of breaking the milling cycle. Fountain together with Tip is in the Mega Tins as well, so if they want to hit Runic, that would be a fitting opportunity after the reprint. Then we have Bestial Lubellion Limited. Bestial Lubellion is one of the big reasons what makes Dragon Link and the Bestial engine so powerful. He's basically a one-card starter, which leads to a free search and even more advantage with Branded Regains and spot removal with Branded Beast plus a level 8 body. This would be a good hit to Dragon Link, which is still one of the top decks of the format. Lubellion will also be reprinted in the Mega Tins in August, so Konami can sell the Lubellions and then limit the card. Our last and final limit is Skill Drain. The only deck that makes consistent use of this card is Labyrinth right now. Together with the Eradicator hit, it could be a good indirect hit to Labyrinth. Also, many people have grown tired of this card since it went to 3, and it's even used in some side decks in the meta. Even though it is not super prevalent in the meta game, Konami already released an ultimate rare print of this card in OTS 19. They are free to hit this card just to please the player base. Moving on to the semi-limits, we have Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos. The last ban list, it went to 2, now it can come to 3 to promote the new fire set, Burning Volcano. So yeah, the reign of Dragon Rulers has long been over, and this card can safely come back to 3. No further questions. Legends. Our next card is also a fire card, Salamangreat Gazelle. So because we have the new support coming for Salamangreat as well, this could be get semi-limit to promote it. And yeah, Salamangreat is not the powerhouse that it used to be. So this card can easily come back to 2. And if you put engage to 2, then Gazelle can come to 2 as well. So Spellbook of Judgment is currently limited. Being able to search in the end phase often is too slow nowadays. And all the spells you could add, you have to wait one more turn to use them, because you just can't fire them on your opponent's turn from your hand like the runic spells. So it's not really an issue anymore, the searching. And Jargon is also, I mean, it's a reason that the card is pretty good, but usually Jargon is much easier to out than a lot of other floodgates, since he doesn't have high attack and he needs protection. So there are much more ways to deal with him, and if Judgment gets asked, you're kind of screwed. And the last list in the OCG, this card was even released from the list entirely. In the OCG, it is at 3. So let's put it to 2 and see what people can do with it. The next semi-limits is our duo Water Enchantress and Rite of Aramesia. Adventure people will continue to fall back on this engine if there is the opportunity, or if the power level of the existing decks in the format gets lowered. Now that the engine has received a reprint in Battles of Legends Monsters Revenge, it's likely to get semi-limited, maybe like the OCG did a while ago. Maybe Konami feels like now that they have reprinted the card, they want to semi-limit it because they maybe don't like people to splash it in every deck. So these are the reasons Water Enchantress and Rite of Aramesia could go to 2. Moving on to cards that can come off the list. Herald of Orange Light. This card will likely go to 3, as indicated on the last Forbidden Unlimited list. It's basically a Drytron and Madoche support card now, and it's very strong in these decks, but it's limited to these decks only. So it was only a problem when the Ishizo decks could abuse it, because it had an insane synergy combined with the Ishizo cards. So yeah, now it can come safely off the list. Ancient Fairy Dragon. It's a hard one per turn. You need one only, and it hasn't even seen play since its errata really. So yeah, it can safely be removed. Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage. Now this card could stay at 2, but it's more likely than not that they will unlimit it. I mean, it would be weird if it stays at 2, and in the OCG it is at 3. Sky Striker hasn't been topping events anyway. Pot of Desires doesn't have a reason to be on the ban list whatsoever. Limit would have made sense when it was limited, but like putting it at 2 and just leaving it at 2 doesn't serve a purpose except just bloating the ban list. The pot of choice for most decks is rather Pot of Prosperity, therefore unlimiting Desires makes sense. Lightning Storm. This was quite a nonsensical semi-limit on the last ban list. It didn't really make much sense to semi-limit it because there are many other better board breakers available, or back row removal for that sake, like Evenly Matched or Harpy's Feather Duster. So this card should be unlimited, there's no reason for it to being at 2. Alright guys, this was our prediction for the upcoming ban list. Did we do a good job in predicting what Konami will do? Let us know in the comments. Feel free to share your opinion, and like the video if you liked it, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.